Hey everyone, welcome to the very first episode of Sew to Grow with me, Lindsay Ray. Today I have a jam-packed episode for you, full of helpful hints, a few new products, and some great sewing techniques. So if you're looking to grow your skills, perhaps you want to learn a few new techniques, or you just want to sit back, relax, and enjoy, then you've come to the right place. Welcome to Sew to Grow. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what's going to be in episode 1. I want to show you a few products, some sewing patterns, a new product that I found at Houston Quilt Market, and a new fabric range that's about to launch. I'm also going to show you what you should have in your essential sewing kit. So whether you're a very brand new beginner sewer and you have absolutely no clue what you should buy, or perhaps you haven't sewn since high school so you can't even remember, or maybe you're an expert sewer, you've been sewing for years but you just want to know what products you should always have on hand. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. And finally today I'm going to show you one of my favorite essential sewing feet, the left edge top stitch foot. Trust me, it's going to save you a lot of time. Alright, so the first product that I want to show you guys today is this new product from C&T Publishing called Craft Tex. It is a paper, but it has a look and feel a lot like leather. Currently it comes in a brown, a black, and I believe a white, but from looking on the website it looks like they're coming out with quite a few new colors. I have seen this product, it's all over America, but I definitely started seeing it in the shops here in Australia. I'll also provide you with a link to where I've purchased mine in Australia as well. But you could also ask your local fabric shop and let them know the name of this product so that they can order it in for you. Basically, to get your Craft Tex to look like this, I just put on a kettle of boiling water, pour that into a bowl, place the cut piece of Craft Tex, so I've already cut it to size. It doesn't have any shrinkage to it. And I scrunch it up, scrunch it up, scrunch it up. Then I lay it out to dry. Now you can stitch on this, you can paint on this. It's much easier to sew than, say, traditional leather because it doesn't tend to stretch or anything like that. So I would highly recommend that if you have a project coming up that you'd like to sew with, maybe you can't get your hands on some leather, then this would be a really great project to try. Or if you're making the Urban Outlook leather tote, which is one of my designs, this would be a great alternative as well. Another product that I wanted to show you were these patterns. These are by a designer from France. It's called Dear and Joe. One of my favorite patterns of hers is the Belladonna dress because it has this gorgeous cutout in the back. Now this is more of an intermediate sewing pattern, but I just wanted to let you know that they are beautifully written, beautifully packaged, and they fit really nicely. I'm also going to provide a link in the notes for a picture from Sew Caroline. She made a gorgeous version of this dress out of quilting weight cotton, so maybe it can inspire you a little bit. And I'll also provide a link to Dear Joe itself. Here is my secret little stash that I got at the Houston Quilt Market this year. This is the new linen range of cotton and steel, and I cannot tell you how excited I am for this range to launch. They are just so beautiful. Look at them. They have gold, beautiful flecks in them. They're also coming out with a double gauze range as well as their quilting weight cottons. Now, I know that in the U.S., these are going to be launching very soon, mid to late January, so they should be coming out anytime now. Now for Australia, it takes about 2 to 3 months for them to get here, so I'm expecting them in the country March-ish, February, March, so we'll definitely update you when they get into the country. But now I want to share with you some sewing essentials. These are the products that you should have on hand in your sewing kit all the time. Whether you're going to go to class or you're at home sewing, these are the things that I use all the time, and I'll tell you why I like them and why you need them. The first thing I want to talk to you about is thread. It is so important. I cannot stress enough for you to use good quality thread in your sewing machine. This is Resant. This is what I like to use in my Husqvarna because I feel like it gives me a really good stitch, and it's a very strong thread. You can see how much comes on a reel. There's tons on there, so I never run out. It seems like they last forever. I also like Gutermann. I think that that's a really great brand, and it's probably a little bit more readily available in most of your shops. If you're going to do a project and you're going to spend so much money on fabric and materials, the thing that's the most important, which is the thread, I wouldn't chintz on. Don't get the $2 really cheap thread that's going to break and pucker and ruin your seam. So go ahead, spend a little bit extra and get some really good quality thread. Another thing that's going to make your machine really happy is good needles. Now, you can use Schmetz, you can use Inspira. There's quite a few different brands, so whatever your store is supplying, pick the version that you like. Now, I'll just give you a little tip. For me, I work with a lot of quilting weight cotton, so I like to use a Sharps 80, and if I'm working with knits, I like to use a ballpoint 80 or 90, depending on the weight of the thread and the weight of the fabric. The reason being is that a universal needle is neither really sharp nor is it rounded. It's just kind of in between. So for a better stitch, I like to use either a top stitch or a Sharps needle for my wovens and a ballpoint needle for my knits. Every seamstress or sewer needs to have herself a really good pair of sewing scissors. These are not to be used on paper. These are only to be used on cutting your materials. So keep them out of the reach of your children and your husband. Make sure that they know this is a no-go zone for them, okay? As far as your scissors, you also want a smaller pair of thread snips because sometimes getting around those little curves, if you're doing sleeves or doing something that's curved, or perhaps you're doing a little bit of reverse applique, it's always good to have a really small pair of sharp pointed scissors. This is another one of my favorite tools. This is called a seam gauge, and what it does is it has measurements on both sides. It has inches and centimeters, and for me, who's an American who's come over here to the metric system, I have a really hard time converting. It's really great for me to see it on the ruler, and it measures the distance between two objects. This is your more expensive version. It holds up. It has a lot more features to it, and this is your like $1.99 one. Sometimes this plastic kind of breaks or it's not as strong, but they both do the exact same thing. I use this for hemming, for marking out distances. A lot of patterns will say, you know, mark a 2-inch line, and you're able to do that with both of these. You also want to make sure that you have on hand some good marking pins. These are the Sewline water-soluble kind. I've used quite a large version of all different types of marking pins, and I find that I really like the water-soluble ones because I can guarantee that they will come out. And I also like to have one of these on hand. This is my handy dandy seam ripper. Now, they have ones that are a little bit more long, have a longer handle, more ergonomic for those of you who may have arthritis or trouble with your hands. But what's really important is that they're extremely sharp. You're already, you know, wasting time when you're having to sit there and pick, and nothing's worse than having an unsharp unpicker. So get yourself a good sharp one. They're not that expensive to always have on hand. Pins for women who are making mostly clothes. I would suggest glass head pins so that if you need to, you can iron over them without them melting. I really like using my flower head pins. They are a little bit more expensive, but whether I'm quilting or whether I'm sewing on garments, I like to use these because I find they're easy to pull out. I also like to have a point turner. This is really great for making cushions or when you're making a bag and you're trying to poke out those little corners. This does it really nice without poking a hole into the fabric. Always a pair of tweezers on hand. Sometimes you need to pick out little threads, or you might have trouble threading your overlocker. Mine opens up completely. Mine's extremely easy to thread, so I don't really use these for that, but you might have an overlocker or a serger that you need to use these for. Finally, for quilters, a few essential things that you need to have. Always need to have a good rotary cutter. Now, Olfa and Fiskars both make a really good rotary cutter. Also need a ruler, and then I would also suggest that you get one of those self-tailing cutting mats. I like to get the larger ones, at least one for a yard or a meter of fabric, because if you get one of the smaller ones, then you can't quite fit anything on it, and you're always struggling and turning the fabric, so you pretty much defeated the purpose of having. And finally, this is the Birdie Hoop Organizer. This is a project that I designed so that you can learn a few different skills. I'm going to put this up as a free project download on my website. The link will be on the website's blog, or you can just go onto my website, sewtogrow.com.au, and download your free project. You can put all of your utensils in there, hang it next to your sewing machine so you don't have to run all over your sewing room looking for where you put everything. You have it all here in this cute little organizer. For the final section of our episode of Sew to Grow, I wanted to share with you one of my favorite time-saving feet. This is called the left edge top stitch foot. Now, it may just look like a regular foot, but what's special about it is on the underneath edge, there is just, you can see a little bit of a gap, okay, right here, and that's where your fabric is going to butt up against it. You're going to follow the red line on the front, but the ledge is kind of helping guide the fabric as well. And it's going to give you a perfect straight line really close to the edge of your folded fabric. So we're just going to put this on our machine like this. And I've already folded my fabric. So I'm just going to put it under the machine and put the foot down and show you how this works. And there you go. My perfect, straight, close top stitch. Great for hems, binding, and sewing anything that needs to be sewn really closely. All right, everyone. Well, we've reached the end of our very first episode of Sew to Grow. I hope you've enjoyed this first episode as much as I have enjoyed making it. If you'd like to, after the episode, please leave us a comment on our Facebook page. We would love to know what you thought about the episode. Perhaps you have some sewing tricks and tips to share yourself. Or maybe you have a favorite foot that you like to use to help save you time. Whatever it is, we'd love to know. Also, remember, we have the links for all of those products you saw today on our Sew to Grow blog. Again, if you have any questions or comments, please contact me. We'll see you next time on another episode of Sew to Grow. Thanks for watching. Bye.